On everybody, how the heck are you guys doing out there? Now, I just ran across this, and up until this point, I did not know where the 613, actual number of laws come into, because as you guys know, if you just sat with us over the last couple of weeks, we went through their so-called 613 laws, and it was a bunch of repeats. It was a bunch of other stuff out there. And when you look at the Bible, there's no such thing as a list of laws. There's the laws of God, which exist in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And that's what would be the laws of God. Anything outside of that is extracurricular. And if it doesn't mesh with the Torah, then it should be tossed out. Now, here's the problem, is that not just Jews, but all of Yisrael, is they went into captivity way back in the days of Babylon. They went into captivity, and they went into a very, very pagan society, extremely pagan, where there was hundreds of gods, there was hundreds of stuff, all this stuff. And when they came out of this, they came out with these set of books. And if you actually look at the books, there's like 25 of them. They're huge. It looks like an encyclopedia set. And they call it the Talmud. Now, this Talmud is a bunch of what they call the rabbis, right? And these are unordained, unsolicited people. It's only solicited if you were the Jews or your rabbi back in the day. But these guys, these rabbis, have added tons of laws to this stuff. In fact, the reason the Talmud is satanic. Right out of the gate, the Talmud is completely satanic. And if you're a Jew out there and you're going, oh, that's not satanic, there are parts in there where you can have sex with a 3-year-old girl and it's okay, right? It says something like her tears will disappear and blah, blah, blah. And it is the most horrible, evil thing. There's also spots in there that if you are not a Jew, you are considered a goyim, which a goy is worse than the dogs of the field. They're worse than the worst of the worst of the worst. And in their Talmud, they have commands and things of this nature where you can steal from the goys. You can do evil stuff to the goys. You can do evil stuff because they're goys. They're not supposedly Yah's people. So the Jews of today read this horrible, evil book called the Talmud, which basically belittles Yah's people. And it is basically what's controlling the entire world, right? The Zionist Jews that take the Talmud are in total control of the world, everything. And everything that is going on today, everything, it all comes from these group of people. Now, that may seem foreign to you guys, or it may seem something crazy, but I'm just saying, the Talmud is not a book of our Creator. Our Creator says these things are extracurricular. They're not part of it. And so when anybody brings up anything with the Talmud, red flag should immediately go off. And it's something that we should not add to doctrine because it goes against the Torah, right? In the Talmud, there's things like you need to wash your hands before you eat in the Talmud, right? That is not in the Torah. So you will have all of these people doing ceremonial going and pouring a cup with the left hand and picking it up with their right hand and then spinning it around in circles, doing drinks. On the Shabbat, they will light candles and do a whole bunch of other stuff. None of this is in the Torah. The Torah is extremely simple. So as I was looking today at other people who were supposedly teaching the Torah, I passed on this guy, and I'm sitting here listening, and it is the first place that, I've researched where do the 1613 laws come, and it wasn't right. It wasn't immediate. But then this guy starts explaining to it, and then all of a sudden everything clicks. So let's first listen to this guy, and it's kind of hard to hear because the quality really sucks on this. But let's listen to this, and then I will end it and explain to you guys where these come from.
I want us to begin with understanding where this idea of 613 comes from. In the Talmud, everybody got nervous now. I mentioned the Talmud.
You should absolutely get nervous. Anything that comes out of the Talmud is evil.
Be very afraid. In the Talmud, under the section called Makot 24a, there is a listing and a mention in there that reads the following. I'm going to read it to you. And this is interrupting the thought a little bit. It says, therefore gave he them Torah, teachings, and many commandments. Rabbi Simlai, when preaching, said 613 precepts were communicated to Moses, 365 negative precepts corresponding to the number of solar days in the year, and 248 positive precepts corresponding to the number of members of a man's body. It said Rabbi Hamnuna, what is the authentic text for this? It is Moses commanded us Torah, an inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. By saying the word Torah Torah having a letter value equal to 611. Okay, so if you take the letters in Hebrew of any word, gematria level, there's a thing called gematria where there's the numerical value of the letters. The numerical value of the word Torah is 611. He says, and then if you add in the I am and the thou shalt have no other gods being reckoned because we heard from the mouth of the might, the mouth of the divine, they add those two in to get 613. That's one of their ways of reconciling this idea of 613. Now,
all right, so I'm going to end that right there. That actually gave us everything we needed to hear and understand. Is number one, this was an old school Jew thing. That, and when I say old school Jew thing, I'm talking about the actual man-made doctrines. I'm not talking about the Torah that we all should be keeping on a day-to-day basis. So this is why the 613 laws of Yah are all completely whacked out. And I'm not saying his laws are whacked out, but the listing of laws are completely whacked out is because these guys are trying to use gematria, and a numbering system, and they go, okay, well, there's 360 some for a solar because of the solar days, and this and that. That's not how this happened, and this is why we're missing like 100 and some commands as they are stretching and reaching for their 613, right? There's probably only 150 commands total that even apply to us in this situation. But where do we come up with 613? Well, it's completely Jewish. It's completely after our Messiah. And it actually wasn't after our Messiah because, I mean, this stuff came out of Babylon prior to our Messiah. But if you look at it and the formulation of it, the only place that we should ever have a listing of our laws is from Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, which is exactly what my family and I are going to do. And we worked on it a little bit yesterday on how to get this going and how we're going to do this. And we're going to read one chapter in starting in Genesis. We're going to read one chapter. We're going to go over it. We're going to pick the laws out of that one chapter. And then we are going to put this up for you guys. And we're all going to discuss this as a tribe, as a family, as a assembly, right? You guys are our family assembly. You guys are with us on this. There's like 70 or 80 people that are interested in the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator, which is ecstatically happy because few people are even called. Few people even care what the law, statutes, and commands of our Creator say. And we are one of the families that absolutely do care. And we think it's important that you care. And you may not think that you should care, but it is important that your soul has a home when this world is gone. And so the only way that we're ever going to have a soul is by seeking the face and seeking the ways of our Creator. And so I guess this entire time when we've been saying 613 laws of God, that's all Jewish stuff. And we are not Jews. We do not believe in the Talmud. We do not believe in any of this Jewish mysticism or any of this man-made doctrines of garbage. We believe strictly in the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. So anyway, that's how it begins, and we will hopefully be getting up one of our first videos on this coming very soon. I hope you guys have a good day. Shabbat Shalom.